Have you ever noticed that no matter how much effort a man puts in, it never seems to be enough? You bring stability, loyalty, and attention, yet the connection fades as if satisfaction itself is impossible. You look around and see the same pattern repeated. Men who provide everything are left wondering what they did wrong, while the men who give almost nothing are somehow desired the most. On social media, you see endless posts telling men to be softer, stronger, richer, more ambitious, more spiritual. Every piece of advice promises that if you fix this one thing, women will finally appreciate you. But it never happens. The rules keep changing. The goalposts keep moving. It feels like you are trapped in a game where the other side does not even know what it truly wants. You begin to think the problem might not be about who you are, but about something deeper that runs through human nature itself. Schopenhauer saw this struggle long before modern dating, before likes and validation loops, before the endless chase for connection that never arrives. He believed that dissatisfaction is not a mistake in relationships, but their foundation. Desire feeds itself by staying unsatisfied. What we call love, attraction, or chemistry is often the will of nature, pushing two people together for reasons neither of them fully understands. In today's world, that will has found new forms. It hides in the chase for status, followers, beauty, and emotional highs that mimic meaning. Men are told to keep striving, to keep proving, to keep winning approval. Yet the moment they get it, the excitement fades and the search begins again. What if the reason women never feel satisfied with men is the same reason men never feel at peace with themselves? There is a quiet tension that every man today can feel but rarely admits. It shows up in relationships that start with passion and end with confusion, in the long conversations that turn into silence, in the constant effort to be enough for someone who never seems to know what she truly wants. You see it everywhere, from friends who give everything and still get left behind, to celebrities who have money, fame, and status, yet still end up alone. Modern life makes it worse. Dating apps promise unlimited options, but they also create unlimited disappointment. We are told that with the right looks, the right mindset, the right habits, we can find lasting satisfaction. Yet the more choices we have, the emptier it feels. What men experience today is not failure. It is the nature of desire itself. It rises, it peaks, and then it fades, only to be replaced by a new one that feels urgent again. This is not a problem of gender. It is a condition of being human. Women feel the same endless search, but in a different form. For them, it often appears as a quiet restlessness, a feeling that something is missing, even when everything seems fine. For men, it becomes a cycle of performance, of trying to prove worth in a world that never stops demanding more. We think satisfaction is just one achievement away, but every success only resets the target. The truth is that discontent is not a flaw to fix, but a built-in part of life that fuels every desire, every ambition, every chase for love. Until a man understands that, he will keep mistaking temporary highs for meaning and confuse the thrill of wanting with the peace of actually being fulfilled. Every man has felt that moment when logic disappears. You meet someone, and suddenly your plans, your focus, your discipline, all of it fades into the background. You find yourself checking your phone for a reply, changing your routine, adjusting your goals, doing things you once said you never would. You tell yourself this time it is different, that this connection feels real, that you have finally found something deeper. But when you look closer, you realize the same pattern keeps repeating. The attraction feels new, yet it follows the same invisible script every time. It is not random. It is a force that moves through you, one that does not care about your career, your peace, or your plans. It only cares about continuing the cycle that has existed since the beginning of time. Modern men like to believe they are in control, that they choose who they love and why. But attraction does not ask for your permission. It pulls you towards certain faces, certain voices, certain moments that feel electric. You think you are making a conscious choice, but what drives you is older than thought itself. It is the same force that makes people risk everything for desire and forget everything they once valued. It is not evil, but it is not kind either. It is a design built into you, pushing you to pursue, to chase, to prove, to win. Every romantic impulse, every spark of obsession is part of that system. And in the modern world, where everything is faster and more visible, that force has learned new ways to express itself. It hides behind dating, ambition, even self-improvement. It is not just about love. It is about the restless energy that lives in every man who wants something he cannot keep. There comes a point in every man's life when he meets someone who feels like the missing piece. The conversations flow, the silence feels comfortable, and for a while, it seems as if everything finally makes sense. You start to believe that this connection will heal what nothing else could. You tell yourself, this is what you have been waiting for. The world feels lighter, your purpose sharper, your confidence stronger. But soon, almost quietly, the excitement begins to fade. The same person who once felt like your salvation starts to feel distant, flawed, unpredictable. You begin to question what changed, but the truth is nothing did. What disappeared was not love. It was the illusion that someone else could fix the emptiness that has always been there. Every generation repeats the same mistake in a different form. Men convince themselves that the right woman will bring balance, that her presence will end the silent battle within. We attach peace to another person and call it destiny. Yet peace that depends on someone else will always collapse. The truth is that no one can complete you because no one was designed to. Relationships mirror what already lives inside you. If that space is restless, no amount of love will fill it. The illusion of completion keeps men trapped in cycles of pursuit and disappointment. They confuse relief with connection, intensity with meaning, validation with love. In today's world, it is easier than ever to chase a new beginning each time the old one fades. But until a man learns to stand whole in his own company, he will keep mistaking temporary comfort for truth, and every relationship will become another attempt to escape the same silence he refuses to face. Every man believes he is choosing the woman he desires, but what if something else is choosing for him? You think it is your taste, your values, or your type, but behind every attraction, there is a design that is not yours. It works quietly, guiding your eyes, shaping your instincts, whispering what feels right without asking what is wise. You see it when a man walks away from a woman who treats him well to chase someone who challenges him in all the wrong ways. You see it when a woman leaves stability for excitement she cannot explain. It is not logic that drives this. It is nature doing what it has always done, using human emotion as its strategy to continue the cycle of life. The bond you call chemistry is not just connection. It is biology fulfilling its plan through you, disguising reproduction as romance. In today's world, that same natural force hides beneath new habits. It wears the mask of freedom, choice, and independence, yet it still controls how people pair, desire, and stay. The man thinks he wants love, but what he really wants is to win the game nature already set up for him. The woman thinks she wants a partner, but what she often seeks is a promise that can never be kept. Nature does not care about your happiness, it only cares that the game continues. Once its purpose is met, attraction fades, leaving both people wondering where the spark went. The tragedy is that most never realize it was never about them. They were simply playing a role written long before they were born. And until you see that clearly, You will keep calling nature's work heartbreak when it is only doing exactly what it was built to do. Every relationship today begins with invisible rules. You are expected to understand, to provide, to lead, to listen, to communicate, to heal. The modern man walks into love carrying an entire checklist of what he must be, while the modern woman carries an image of what she believes she deserves. Both step into something real while expecting a movie. We learn what love should look like before we ever experience it. We grow up watching stories where the right person fixes everything, where conflict always ends in clarity, and where affection never fades. But real life does not follow that script. Reality is uneven. People are inconsistent. Feelings change. The more we expect perfection, the faster disappointment arrives. Every man who has tried to be the ideal partner knows this truth. You can give your best, yet if someone's expectations are built on fantasy, reality will always feel like a failure. In today's world, we mistake high standards for depth. We confuse emotional demand with emotional connection. Everyone wants to feel seen, but few are ready to see others as they are. We expect constant reassurance and mistake effort for control. The truth is that many women do not fall out of love with men. They fall out of love with the version of the story they created in their mind. And men, trapped between trying to be genuine and trying to be ideal, lose themselves trying to please an idea that never existed. Expectation is the silent destroyer of intimacy because it turns people into projects. It replaces understanding with pressure. It turns relationships into performances. The more you chase what you think love should be, the further you drift from what it actually is. A meeting between two flawed people who were never meant to be perfect. Every person you are drawn to reflects something about you. Attraction is not random. It is a mirror that shows what you want, what you fear, and what you still lack. When a man falls for a woman who challenges his peace, it is not always because she is special, but because she awakens a part of him that he has not yet faced. We like to believe we fall for people because of who they are, but most of the time, we fall for how they make us feel about ourselves. That is why the chase feels powerful and the comfort feels dull. We mistake emotional intensity for meaning. What we really desire is to see our value reflected back to us. The person who gives us that reflection becomes addictive. But the moment they stop mirroring that image, the feeling fades, and we call it falling out of love. In today's world, desire has become a tool of validation. People no longer seek connection to understand themselves. They seek it to be seen. Every compliment, every message, every look becomes proof that we still matter. Men scroll through dating apps not just for matches, but for reminders that they are still desirable. Women post pictures not just for memories, but for reactions that confirm their worth. This cycle feeds the illusion that love is proof of value. But real love is not about being admired. It is about being understood. The mirror that once makes you feel powerful eventually reveals your weakness. And when that reflection disappears, you realize the truth that desire does not expose who someone else is. It exposes who you are beneath the roles, beneath the confidence, and beneath the image you keep trying to prove to the world. There was a time when love was survival. People needed each other to live, to build, to raise, to protect. But in today's world, survival no longer depends on connection. It depends on independence. Men and women now meet not out of need, but out of choice, and that has changed everything. Modern women no longer look for providers. They look for experiences. They want a man who adds value to a life that already feels full. The problem is, most men were raised believing their worth came from what they could give, not who they could be. So when they meet a woman who does not need them, they feel powerless. The shift in power is not unfair. It is simply a reflection of a new age. But this shift also carries a silent tension. Many women want freedom, but still crave protection. Many men want purpose, but no longer know where to place it. This confusion is why relationships today feel like a negotiation instead of a union. Men are learning to exist without being needed, while women are learning to trust without control. Both are trying to love in a world where roles have dissolved, but instincts remain. A man's instinct to lead is not dominance, it is direction. A woman's instinct to test is not manipulation, it is evaluation. The challenge now is not about who holds the power, but about who understands it. Love can no longer rely on traditional structures. It has to be built on mutual strength. The modern man must learn to offer value without needing validation. The modern woman must learn to receive without fearing dependency. Only when both recognize that power is not possession, but balance, will love stop feeling like a contest and start feeling like a choice again. Silence has become unbearable for most people. The moment things slow down, they reach for something to fill the space. Music, messages, shows, distractions, anything to escape the quiet. But that same fear follows them into relationships. The moment a woman feels peace instead of excitement, she mistakes it for boredom. The man interprets her distance as rejection. Both panic because silence in love feels like something is missing. What they do not see is that stillness is where truth lives. The early rush, the tension, the thrill, all of it fades. What remains is the reality of who you are when nothing is happening. Many people cannot sit in that space because it exposes their emptiness. They do not want love. They want stimulation. They crave something to keep them from confronting themselves. In today's world, we have confused peace with dullness. We expect love to feel like constant motion, like an endless stream of emotion and novelty. But real love grows in quiet moments, not in chaos. The strongest relationships are built by people who can sit in silence without reaching for escape. Yet most couples never get there because they are addicted to noise. They think love is about feeling something all the time. But the truth is, love is what remains when the feeling fades. Stillness is not the absence of passion. It is the presence of stability. The reason many people fail to stay satisfied is not because their partner changed, but because they never learned how to stay still with themselves. The fear of quiet pushes them to chase chaos again, confusing movement with meaning. Until a person learns to be calm within their own silence, every relationship will feel temporary, and every peace will feel like a loss. People today want results without rhythm. Everyone talks about love, but few are willing to maintain it. We live in a world where patience feels outdated. The moment something becomes difficult, people call it incompatible. The moment effort is required, they call it a sign to move on. Relationships used to grow through consistency. Now they fade through convenience. The truth is that love does not die because people change. It dies because they stop showing up in the small ways that used to matter. They stop texting first. They stop listening fully. They stop doing the little things that once made the connection feel alive. When the attention shifts from appreciation to comparison, love begins to rot quietly. The modern world teaches people that if something requires effort, it is not meant for them. But everything meaningful requires maintenance, especially people. In real life, effort is not a grand gesture. It is repetition. It is remembering to ask, to care, to notice. It is what keeps love from turning into routine. Yet today's culture glorifies newness over endurance. The next person, the next thrill, the next spark, All of it feels easier than working on what is already there. Men often give up when they feel unappreciated. Women often pull away when they feel unseen. Both forget that love only grows when both still choose to feed it. Effort is not weakness. It is discipline. It is showing that something still matters, even when it no longer feels exciting. Without effort, attraction fades into distance, and distance becomes resentment. The ones who stay are not those who never get tired, but those who keep showing up when they do. In a world that worships ease, effort is the last real proof of love. Everyone wants freedom until they get it. Men say they want space, independence, and control, but when they finally stand alone, the silence starts to bite. Women claim they want to live without limits, to choose without consequence. But when no one truly stays, they begin to question if freedom was ever meant to feel this lonely. Modern relationships are built on the illusion that love should never cost you your individuality. We protect our freedom like a shield, afraid that closeness will somehow erase us. But freedom without connection becomes isolation, and connection without freedom becomes suffocation. Most people are not running from love. They are running from the vulnerability that love demands. To stay with someone means surrendering a part of your control, and in today's world, that feels like weakness. Real freedom is not about doing whatever you want. It is about choosing something and staying even when it would be easier to leave. But the world today rewards detachment. People romanticize the idea of being unbothered, of caring less, of walking away first. Commitment has been replaced by options, and loyalty has been mistaken for limitation. We build walls and call it strength. We avoid dependence and call it self-respect. Yet behind all that control is fear. The fear of being hurt, of being replaced, of not being enough. The irony is that the freedom we fight so hard to protect often becomes the prison that keeps us from what we truly crave. Every man who has walked away from someone he loved knows this feeling. You tell yourself you did it to protect your peace, but what you really protected was your ego. True freedom is not escape. It is the courage to stay open when everything in you wants to shut down. There comes a point when a man must stop chasing and start standing still. Not out of laziness, but out of understanding. You begin to realize that peace is not found in being chosen. It is found in choosing yourself. The world keeps telling men to prove their worth, to earn love, to compete, to win. But the real strength of a man today is not in how much he can conquer, but in how much he can control. Control his emotions, his attention, his reactions. Every argument, every silence, every test that comes your way is not about her. It is about you. A grounded man does not lose himself when someone else pulls away. He does not beg to be seen, and he does not fight to be right. He observes. He decides. He stays calm in a world that rewards noise. Because once you master your emotions, you stop being controlled by the chaos around you. In today's reality, women are surrounded by men who talk too much and feel too little. A man who is steady, disciplined, and unbothered stands out more than ever. The truth is that strength is not built in comfort, it is built in restraint. You do not need to chase what is meant for you. You just need to become the man who can hold it when it arrives. That means working when you do not feel like it, staying composed when tested, and walking away when respect fades. Every woman will test a man's control, not out of cruelty, but to see if he truly has it. Because control is proof of certainty. It shows presence, not performance. And when a woman meets a man who cannot be moved by temptation or emotion, the question becomes, how many women today still have that same control?